again I am going to Kubernetes. Yesterday half of it is completed, right? If you have any time evening, connect half an hour. Hello. Hi Mahinder. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Venkat.
Uh, if you have any time, connect on evening for Docker network. Yesterday half of we completed, right, theory part. Now we'll complete that one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. See, Kubernetes one say K8 between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 letters are there, so it is a shortcut for Kubernetes is K8s. K8s is the shortcut for the Kubernetes. In between K8 KS you have 8 letters are there, so that 8 letters count K8s, where we used to call Kubernetes as a K8s here. See, yesterday up to the layers I said you right. So now this is cluster. Inside the cluster namespace, inside the namespace pod, inside the pod we have container. This is container. So here I am giving name, cluster, namespace, pod, this is container. So if we want to do anything directly, we are not going to connect our container. Inside the container we have application. So if I want to connect any container or anything used directly, I will deal with pod here. I don't want to go directly here container. I am going to deal with pod. So if I want to create a pod by using command, then how will create multiple pods here by using YAML file is nothing but nothing but deployment dot YAML. Where we used YAML, already we used YAML file.
Ansible,
Yeah, same
and then
here.
in
Same here also. We are using YAML files for
Play
deployment.
Store में
Same we used in. Give me a second. Okay. So same here also we are using the YAML file for the deployment for creating the multiple pods here. Suppose we are taking some basic YAML file here. What is Kubernetes deployment? First we will go through this Kubernetes deployment. A Kubernetes deployment is a high-level API resource used to manage stateless application by defining the desired state of set of identical pods. So here pods is nothing but one object. Inside that object we have container. Inside the container we have the application. We are dealing with pods. If you want to run or stop or kill or terminate, we are using by the pod only. We are not dealing with containers. And it ensures specified number of replicas are running and automatically replicas fail pods. So here replicas is nothing but copy of a pod. Same we created the replicas in Docker. Here we are creating the pod. The replica is nothing but a copy of pod. There in Docker replica is nothing but a copy of the container. And deployments also supports rolling updates and rollbacks and making them ideal for control, application updates and version management. And desired state in deployment, the controller changes the actual state to desired the controlled rate. Deployment design for stateless applications for stateful workloads and require the stable network identity pristine volume considered using the stateful sets here. See, deployment, replica sets and pod. If I want to give the scaling replicas 3 or 10 or 1, anything scale up and scale down, here we are giving in replicas. So if my pod is crashed, automatically the pod will create another one replica here. How many we are giving? 1 or 2 or 3, anything it is giving, it is going to create the replicas here. And so in the deployment file, what is the essential components of Kubernetes deployment YAML file? In there, Ansible, we use it like name, job. What we are using the left hand side, we use the name,
run command.
run command.
Hmm.
See, the Ansible name, host and
Yes.
user and task in the Ansible used. If we'll go to the Docker file, if you'll go to the Docker file, here we used from,
From Ubuntu.
okay, run cmd entry point copy, like this we used in the Docker file the components. So in Ansible, first three hyphens we are used for starting and three dots for closing, and between we used hosts and tasks. What we are using the task, we are using name and command, like this we used in the Ansible. But here in Kubernetes, we are using here API version. I am giving v1 API version. I am giving even kind. Which resource we are using, we are going to give kind here. Okay, if I want to create pod, I am going to give the kind here. So I am creating the pod here. Then after name, pod name, then metadata is nothing but identifying information like name and labels is going to metadata. We used to call as a variables here. The metadata is nothing but a variables here. And spec is the outline desired state of deployment including our resource. So here see API version I am taking v1 and kind I am taking pod and metadata I am taking any name here. Pod name is equal to pod deploy, and spec. See, spec is a desired outline state of the deployment. What we are going to give here in the spec,
In WhatsApp, they are using Kubernetes.
which one?
WhatsApp deployment and
Kubernetes. So in the spec, see, in the spec we are using the replicas. Replicas is nothing but a number of pods here. Replicas we are giving number of pods here, and selector match criteria to link the development with its pod. To link the development with its pod, that is the selector. Selector means we are going to select. Suppose I am using pod 1. We are going to select on selector is nothing but a pod 2. we are linking the pod 1 and pod 2 by using the selector here. And template we already know. Pod template specifications we are giving, and that specifications we are going to create the pod template by using what we are creating, that one. So unspecific and spec here, spec is container details we are giving, container name and image name, what we are giving the ports, what we are giving the volumes, what we are giving the environment, what we are giving the network, all we are going to give here spec. The spec is defining the replicas, selector and templates. Templates we already used in instance, right? Same templates we are using to create here pod here. And this spec is going to define container, image, ports, environment, volumes, all we are going to give the spec here. So see, API version apps v1 we are giving here, and kind deployment, kind here deployment we are giving here. Metadata, the metadata name is example deployment, and replicas in spec we are giving the replicas, 3 replicas we are giving. Selector, match labels, app is equal to example, and a template, same template also we are going to give the metadata, labels, example, app example. And spec container, we are going to create the container, example container and example image, and pod is equal to container port number is 8. See here, API version specifies the Kubernetes version in case of using the apps API version which it approximate for the deployment. So if I have this image, we are going to create this container. Okay, we are doing the automation for the creation of containers, pods, images and names we are giving in a single file here. So by using the Kubernetes, we didn't did the files here, but we did compose file here. That compose file is going to run by for creating multiple containers in a single command. Docker compose -d up command is created multiple containers within a single command by using the docker compose file here. So here also same thing, just they created the docker file by using the docker image. We are pulling the docker image from docker hub. Here see, directly we are mentioning each and everything in the deployment.yaml file. In this deployment.yaml file, API version, kind, metadata, spec and template and spec the container specifications we are giving, and replica specifications we are giving here. Spec is nothing but replica specifications, and each and everything. See, API version, kind specifies types of Kubernetes resources. So see, kind specifies types of resources in Kubernetes, we are giving the deployment here. And spec, the selection defines the desired state of development. The selection desires the desired state of the development here. And see, deployment is nothing but I have application. Wait, I will remove each and everything here. I have one server and another more one server here. I have totally 2 servers here. So server 1 and server 2, server 1 and server 2 here. In this server 1 means container here, server is nothing but container here. In this container 1, application is running here. So one application is running here. In the container 2, here also one application is running. So here what we are going, specifications, replicas, constructors, match labels, and see. So here I don't have any content, sorry, I have one application here we are running here. So I am cloning from git maven I am using, and we created one war file here. By using git we cloned one application, and then after by using maven we created the jar file. The jar file we are going to deploy here. So the process is happened in the server 1. Now I want to deploy into server 2. So here I am giving kubectl deploy server 2 / home / ubuntu and I am giving the server 2 details here to deployment. It is going to create here in home path ubuntu here war file, suppose dot war file. We are just copying here, the war file is copying here, and it is going to run kubectl run. Directly we are deploying from server 1 to server 2. The application is deployed means copied into server 2. From there it is going to run. Now my application is running in server 2. Server 2, my application is running in server 2. I will give the best example. In Tomcat we deployed war file, Netflix war file we deployed. How we will deployed? First in Jenkins server we used git clone maven, and what we created the war file by using maven we deployed into Tomcat server, right? So here same strategy we are using to container 1 to container 2. Here we are going to deploy the war file, either war or jar. We are going to deploy from here to container 2 here. The same strategy we are using here to deployment, right? Understand now?
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah, here all thing are we are going to create on whole we are creating the in deployment dot
So in container one, we are creating everything and we are deploying in container two.
right. Deployment is not nothing but we are copying the file from here server 1 to server 2 or server 3 to
Container
server
one.
2, yeah, container 1 to container 2, and there we are going to run the file. Okay, we are going to run the file from here to there, copied there and running the file. That is nothing but a deployment. Anyway, in Tomcat
So
also
nothing will run in container one, huh?
container 1, we are not running anything. We are running the
Just
application into container 2.
container two.
Suppose if you want to run into the container 1, we are going to run directly. Okay,
Hmm.
suppose I created 3 servers here. One is for master and another 2 is node servers. Now I am using the master server as a main here. Then each and everything I am installations and all done in the master server. I am going to deploy in the node server here. The 2 node servers are there for better traffic and better communicate. I am going to deploy in the node server. If I deployed in the master, more downtime will happen, right? So each and everything I am installing in the master server. If anything happen to the server, my data will crash each and everything. So what I am doing, I am deploying into the node server, 2 node servers here. If anything will happen for one server, second server is going to ready to create my application without automation. Here I am telling. Okay, see, we have 3 servers totally. One is master, another one is node 1, another one is node 2. Suppose I am giving node 1 here. బాగా మళ్ళీ చేస్తాను, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను, మళ్ళీ చేస్తాను. సో master node 1 node 2, each and everything I created, my master server is 4 GB, address is 4 GB. Each and everything I am going to ready here, all things I am going to deploy in the node 1 here. So if anything happen to the node 1, my node 2 is also ready to take this all information. Automatically it will taking the all information from the master. So if anything happen in the node 1, it is ready to the node 2. Otherwise I gave the replica. Replica is nothing but a copy of the server or copy of the pod. Replicas, actually we used to call replicas. So I gave replicas is 3. If my server is crashed, node 1 or master anything will crash, it is going to create 3 servers within seconds. Three servers within seconds it is going to create if my server is crashed. Understand now? If you want to deploy in the single server also fine,
Yes.
multiple servers also fine here. So here see each and here we are using the environment variables in the Kubernetes of the often used to decouple configuration container image, making it fixable, easier to manage, to define environment variables in the deployment.yaml file here. So environments, how we are giving deployment, my app deployment, same three replicas we are giving here, and containers, my app container and my app image, that is going to database host and dbexample.com and API key, each and everything we mention in the normal file, but here we are going to use the variables without mentioning any secret key and database, and directly we are taking in the environment. The environment is going to create each and everything here. I will explain this one, and configuration map and resource CRD, custom resource definitions, and security we need to tell, and network. First I will go with the Docker network, then after I will come to this Kubernetes network. Same Docker network and Kubernetes network also same, and yeah. Up to here understand what is the deployment and what is the replicas, and
We'll go through Venkat.
so
Okay.
directly go through this
We'll go through
kubernetes.io,
what.
kubernetes.io, and left side mainly the Kubernetes is only one thing, automating whole work here. What we are going to do the work, we are going to automate here. And cluster architecture, see cluster architecture here given: cloud controller manager, kube API server, and scheduler control manager, node 1 and node 2, the kubelet kube proxy, and pod, same here also single pod. See yesterday we are discussing about layers, right? See here same layers here going to cluster, control plane, and namespace is node 2 nodes, and pods, multiple pods and single pod here. Here if you use the kube proxy or kubelet, anything it is fine. Okay, I will explain this one tomorrow, and now I am going to explain one of the tool inside the Kubernetes. One of the tool is there, that is nothing but Minikube. It will take 10 minutes, then after we'll stop the class after 10 minutes. So Minikube is nothing but
No, Venkat.
You want to go?
Yes, Venkat. Can we continue tomorrow?
Okay, fine.
This mini queue.
Okay, fine. But
Because 10 minutes then.
yeah. But what my intention is, read this document for today. Okay. Try to read. If you have any doubts,
Okay.
ask me. Mahinder, document చదవండి.
ఓకే వెంకట్ ఐ విల్.
ఈ డాక్యుమెంట్లో మొత్తం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంతా ఉంటుంది. కుబర్నెటిస్ డాక్యుమెంట్ చదివారంటే మీకు బేసిక్ అర్థమైందంటే ఈజీగా అర్థమైపోతుంది మన కమెంట్స్లో కల్లా. ఎందుకంటే ఇది కన్ఫ్యూజన్, ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ కన్ఫ్యూజన్. ద కుబర్నెటిస్ టూల్ ఈజ్ సమ్ వాట్ కన్ఫ్యూజన్. దట్స్ వై ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు డూ ద మోర్ theory part here. If you'll understand the theory part goodly, easy to understand our answer here. Okay
ఓకే వెంకట్.
Okay, bye. Thank you and sorry
Okay.
today I woke up at 8 o'clock.
No problem.
Yeah, bye.
So still network is left out,
Yeah,
Venkat.
tomorrow first we'll start the network. I will set up each and everything. Then after we'll go to Kubernetes again. Same theory part Kubernetes. Then after next day we are going to start practical. Okay.
Hmm.